Waterwight, Chapter 14 of Book 1. And forgive me, I think I said this ends Chapter 3 when I meant to say this ends Chapter 13 last time. I might make some mistakes every once in a while. Hope you'll forgive me. This is Chapter 14. "Uptime, new girl," said a sweet child standing in the doorway. "Oh, hi." Celeste rubbed her eyes and tried to shake the dream from her head. For a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. "What's your name?" "Lena." The girl, about 5 years old, rocked slightly as she answered. "I know your names." Her voice was bashful. Celeste paused for a moment, confused by the child's statement and feeling as if she were still in her dream. The vision of standing by the water's edge was perplexing and vaguely disturbing. "My name's Paloma." She wondered if Chimney had already announced her as Paloma Elizabeth Newman. That would explain the girl's names comment. She leaned to peek out the window to her friend below and was instantly relieved to see him looking up at her, as he had the night before. "Is there somewhere I can clean up before I come down, Lena?" "Yes, follow." The girl turned back down the stairs. Celeste grabbed the only personal care items she had from her past life, a toothbrush, a comb, a ragged hand towel, and hurried after the girl. "I didn't bring much with me," she told the child. "I know. Be quick, quick like a bunny." Lena opened the bathroom door. "And don't wait for hot." She said the words as if she'd memorized them and ran down the hallway. Celeste could hear her announce, "Did it," in a proud voice to someone in another room. Suddenly self-conscious, Celeste took a quick look around the room, the first private bathroom she'd seen in years. She looked into the shower and was happy to find a bar of soap. She couldn't recall how many days it had been since she'd bathed. In her rush to follow Lena, she forgot to grab a different shirt from her bag, and her jeans were filthy as well. With no mirror in the room and barely warm water, it wasn't difficult to comply with the "quick like a bunny" directive. Still, it felt good to wash off a layer of grime. She dressed and ran back to the attic, hoping no one would see her until she could pull a comb through her thick, wet tangles. "Good morning, Orville," she thought. "I hope you had a bonne nuit," came his immediate response. "I have had my fill of irksome rodents and am ready for the day. You are worried about something." "It's probably nothing. One of the little girls here said she knew my names. It just seemed like an odd thing to say. And I thought I heard people crying and screaming, like they were scared, but it could have been in my dreams." "No, I heard it throughout the night as well, from the far end of the village. It sounded to me like cauchemars, night terrors." "Huh. Well, I guess I better face the boss. Why am I so jumpy?" "I do not imagine you have ever interviewed for a new home before. Just remember who you are. Bonne chance." "Thanks, friend. I'll need all the luck I can get. Oh, and I'll get you out of that cage soon, okay?" "Do not worry about me, ma petite. Perhaps they will let me accompany little Chimney today. There is something odd about him as well." "You mean his squeaks and twitches? Some people just do that." "No, something more. When I heard him in the brush last night, I could not see him. I did not see him until you helped him up, and my vision is excellent." Now that you mention it, he did make a comment about my seeing him. We're going to learn a lot today. Hey, if I need you, can I just call you in my thoughts? Is that how it works? "Je crois que oui. I believe so. Soon we will know, and perhaps you can discover the source of the nightmare disruption as well. Celeste tied her hair back with the dusty emerald scarf. If she was going to sell her teaching talent, she wanted to look as proper as she could, despite her dirty clothes. She returned to the hallway slowly and tried to gauge how many people might be in the house by the voices she could hear. All was quiet, as if they were waiting expectantly for her. She made her way downstairs to the kitchen. When she entered, 3 older members of the household put down their forks and looked at her. The fourth, the lovely girl who didn't acknowledge her the previous night, kept eating. "You've met Nick already," said Blanche. "He's Mac, and that's Teresa." Celeste was pleased to see the boy who had somehow stopped Orville and Chimney from moving, and she was truly excited to meet Teresa, owner of the doves. She thought Teresa would be happy to meet the girl whose birds, the little palomas, had helped rescue her. Once again, Teresa didn't even look her way. "She's blind," Blanche said when she saw the look of disappointment on Celeste's face, "and she can't hear or talk either." "I found her sitting by a tree after the shaking." Mac, a tall, lean young man with chiseled cheekbones and well-groomed facial hair, spoke. "She was in pretty bad shape." Celeste could sense Mac's affection for the girl and Blanche's irritation at it. "Nick told us about your village. Sorry to hear it." Blanche was all business. "We don't know how much longer it'll be before the same happens to us. We're doing pretty good here, though. Nick and Mac hunt with some of the others in town. My little brother's got a gift for finding new things to eat, and Teresa, believe it or not, can keep things growing in our community garden." Celeste listened respectfully, wondering if she would be asked to sit with them at the table. The aroma from their breakfast plates made her stomach growl. "But as you can see," Blanche continued, "we have a full house already and kids who don't help at all. The attic's not really a bedroom, and all our other rooms are full." Celeste wanted to speak, but could tell Blanche wasn't finished yet. "So we'll give you something to eat, but then you'll have to pack up and leave. We have too many useless mouths to feed here as it is." Celeste was startled by the meanness of her comment. It was time to intervene. "If you make us leave, we'll die out there." She surprised herself by the forcefulness and dramatic impact of her statement. She wasn't about to be tossed aside by some sanctimonious teenager. Mac and Nick sat up a little straighter with eyebrows raised and looked at Blanche, who remained stoic. "Let me stay and I can help. The attic's all I need for a place to sleep. I can teach the kids and make them useful, and I understand Spanish and French. Oh, and cat and dog and mountain and frog," she wanted to add. "She could talk with the others," Mac whispered to Blanche. Nick nodded his head and seemed eager to support Mac. "And Orville can hunt and gather. He kept me alive during our journey and protected me from predators. He could help Chimney." For the first time, Celeste noticed a softening in Blanche's expression. "He finds his own food and can catch things faster than any hunter I've seen." "Sit down," Blanche finally offered. She pushed a plate with a few unrecognizable items on it toward Celeste. "What else can you do? Can you cook?" "Sure, but I've mostly been teaching since the shaking. I'm a fast learner, though. Thanks for the—" Celeste didn't know what to call the food. "The breakfast. It's good." "Listen, Paloma," Blanche continued. "My brother's always disappearing on us and not coming back until ritual, so I like the idea he'd have someone, something, with him when he gathers." Celeste remembered Orville saying he couldn't see the boy and wondered if the comment about his disappearing was more than just figurative. "And we do have kids in some of the other houses who don't speak English. Frankly, they're all a burden on the community, so turn that around and maybe we could use you." Use me, Celeste thought. The leader of the house clearly didn't care about the newcomer's abilities to teach, but she did feel protective of her brother. She looked at Teresa, who had finished her meal and was sitting peacefully, obliviously, next to Mac. She wished she could talk to the girl, to tell her how grateful she was for the gift of her birds, creatures she had not been able to communicate with either. If your frog's ready, I'll try to find Shim. We'll see how he does today. I'll put the kids in the great room. See what you can do with them. Tomorrow, I'll tell the other houses about your offering, and we'll make a decision. We've got to consider the whole community, not just one person. Celeste nodded her head. I'll get Orville. Celeste stood to leave. And when you find Chimney, I'll teach him how to work with his new partner. Here we go, Orville. Celeste summoned her friend. We both have to prove ourselves today. I am ready, Orville responded, and so are you. The shifter flew clumsily toward the village with something small and white fluttering from its beak. It had lost the girl named Celeste. For now, anyway. That ends chapter 14 of book 1.